What's going on, everybody? It's Steve. We're here with the Season 15 review. I am the Grand Champion. For the first time since Season 1, I got a championship. Very good season. As we see here, I went 11-0. I lost 2 games total, 1 to Pancake, 1 to Ray. The incredibly lucky game versus Ray, where I crit him a bunch, flinched him even more. For the most part, other than the set against Pancake, it was fairly straightforward, and I felt like I was in control most of the time. I ran very few gimmicky sets. I would say the only really gimmicky ones were against Donut and Sly. Donut because that team was just really abusable, and Sly because I thought I had a very poor matchup. A big theme of this season is that most of my items actually got used 39 out of 51 times. In general, these were healing items, damage boosting items like Life Orb, Spell Tag, Power Herb, or defensive items like Covert Cloak or Assault Vest. As it turns out, I drafted only mons that were taller than me or heavier than me. Turns out those are all fully evolved mons and they're all good. My total differential was plus 45, so I only played 44 games, so that's just under plus 2 per game, which is very good. Where do I think my advantages lied? If you look at the stat block there, these numbers are just immense. In the attack column, the only ones that are below 100 are Cryogonal and Noctowl at 50, Fortress at 90, which is still pretty decent, and Colossal, who, if I'm running physical, is going to have some sort of boosting item, like a weakness policy. The physical bulk is generally ridiculous. Hariyama is low, but has an absurd HP stat to counteract that. Special defense is a little bit lower, but I still got a huge special wall in Dust Noir, and once again, big time HP stats to counteract the slightly lower special defense. The 5 mons I've got pictured there, Hariyama, Dust Noir, Exeggutor, Tauros, and Colossal, played 77 of the 96 games total. And it's very hard to plan around these 5 mons because Hariyama, is it going to be fake out or is it going to be setup? Those are the only 2 sets I ran. Setup including either bulk up or a flame orb. Is it going to be guts with a flame orb or thick fat? Maybe even rest sleep talk with guts. Dust Noir gives me frisk. On lead, I know what you're going to do. Or I know what I can't do into you. If I lead Hariyama Dust Noir, I see a Covert Cloak, I see Terra Ghost, I know that I can't fake out. Ridiculously bulky. Most of the time, I didn't have to invest into either defense or special defense. I could just go max HP, and that was usually enough to live whatever I needed to. Good support moves in Wisp and Taunt, and always Trick Room, and then Poltergeist to fire off huge damage. The Exeggutor was just reliable damage with Dragon and Grass moves, because there were no Fairy types, and there were very few Steel types. And it gave me that backup Trick Room. Either if I didn't want to bring Dust Noir, or if I wanted to bring them both. Then I have the double Trick Room play. Colossal. Am I going to be running it fast? Am I going to be running it slow? Because at 30 speed, it was, I think, the slowest real mon in the format. Or am I going to do both with Steam Engine and something like 50 speed? Because usually 50 times 4, 200 is fast enough to be faster than every other team. So I could go Trick Room with a quote-unquote fast Colossal, or neutral Colossal, and then surf him on the last turn and be faster outside of Trick Room as well. And I had that easy guaranteed setup with the Power Herb. And Tauros gives me that Intimidate that was in limited quantity. Fast speed control, I ran Bulldoze and Icy Wind a lot. And it allowed me to enable Cole with, what is the special attack stat there? 40. Yeah, 40 special attack Surf. I think we saw against Ray. It did like 18% to Colossal, which basically is no damage. So finding a way to beat these 5 in prep honestly seems like a nightmare. I'm going to get into each mon and their stats, and my general opinion about them. Going in game played order. So Hariyama was the most played 21 games, 14 kills, 12 deaths, teared 5 times. And percent damage, these might be off by a little bit, but I went through each of my games and added up the percent. I wanted to see how the percent damage correlated to the kills. So this is what you would mostly expect. 14 kills, you would expect around 1400 damage if it is doing around 100% per mon that it's killing. So yeah, that is around the expected value. My abilities, I went thick, fat, or guts half the time. Items used, leftovers 3 times with the bulk up, assault vest 6 times, and it did not activate only once. That was in the grand finals against Electric, and then flame orb twice. One of those was the Terra normal facade, and we see the Terras dark twice, first week and last week, normal, ghost, and rock. Now the moves that I used, there's a lot of fighting moves: drain punch, brick break, close combat. Support moves, just the protect and bulk up, and then some priority, fake out, and bullet punch. Facade I only brought on the flame orb with the Terra normal. Fire punch I needed against Bohm to cover for bugs and grass. Flying, particularly jump left and Heracross. And Ice Punch, ironically, was only clicked against Ray because he had a Terra Ghost Avalugg, which I was trying to freeze. So other than Knockoff and Fire Punch, Fire Punch is the only real coverage move here that did not get stab. I clicked Knockoff because of the utility, and I did bring Terra Dark when I had Knockoff. I ran it a lot, but sometimes when I clicked it, it was stab, and I clicked Terra Normal Facade. Other than that, it was priority moves or a coverage move in Fire Punch that I absolutely needed. Moves that I brought that I didn't use were Feint, once again, utility move, the Ghost Terra Blast, Zen Headbutt, which I had Terra Psychic when I ran that, Surf, again to enable Colossal in Trick Room, and Heavy Slam, I believe, was for a Grand Bowl. But for the most part, clicking utility moves, clicking setup, and clicking fighting moves with this Hariyama, and it did its job reasonably well. Moving on, we had Dust Noir as the second most played. I ran Safety Goggles 4 times, which is just a crazy amount. I played a lot of Sleep Power mods. 16 games, 10 kills, 7 deaths, so it died in less than half of the games that it came. Terra'd once into Dark type, and it did 950% damage, a little bit less than the expected 1000% with 10 kills. Only ran ghost moves: Poltergeist, Phantom Force, Shadow Sneak, Hex, and then a bunch of support: Taunt, Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp, and Trick Room, with one coverage move in Ice Punch. That was against a Torterra, who Terra'd water, so it was basically useless, but it used an item, so I couldn't use Poltergeist. Moves that I brought that I did not use, 0. None of them. I used every move I brought on Dust Noir. Mental Herb I brought once, and it did not get used. Safety Goggles, even though I brought it 4 times, it did not get used 3 times. It did against Bohm, against the Jump Bluff, I believe. And then it was 2 damage items, Spell Tag and Life Orb, and no item against Dan, which basically prevented him from being able to bring Bramblegast, because he did see that I had no item game 1 of that conference finals. Always Frisk. Frisk is ridiculous. Like I said, on lead, I know what your items are, I know what I can and cannot fake out, and I just go from there. It's a huge advantage. And being able to set Trick Room with this thing and just do tons of damage with Poltergeist, or burn you, or taunt you, while scouting out your items, and I can't be faked out. It's just, this mon's insane and low tier. Next up we had Colossal. 16 games, 17 kills, 9 deaths, Terra'd it 6 times, and it overdid its damage, 1900% to the 17 kills. And once again, this was mainly just clicking stabs. Power Gem, Meteor Beam, Rock Slide, Heat Crash, Heat Wave, Flare Blitz, Flamethrower. Heavy Slam was clicked one time because I did not want to miss on an Inteleon that had 3% left. Endure was used, kind of a gimmicky set against Sly. Clicked it once just because I wanted to activate Steam Engine, but Inteleon was scarfed into Icy Wind. I did not recognize. And then Earth Power was the only coverage move that I clicked. With Colossal, I did bring Earthquake and High Horsepower, did not click either of them, and Terra Blast Grass, I brought twice. Did not Terra Grass, so it did not get used. Terras I did use, Ghost twice to dodge Fake Out with a Covert Cloak Tauros next to it. Terra Fire just for the extra stab damage. Bug with Flash Fire against Electric. And Fairy just to resist some fighting moves. I believe that was against Dan. I brought Absorb Bulb week 1, which boosts your special attack if you're hit by a water move. Every week after that I brought Power Herb if I was going special. 2 times it did not activate were when I did not bring it to the set of 4. Life Orb 1 week, and Weakness Policy twice. Steam Engine brought it 6 times, Flash Fire 3 times, and Flame Body once. Flame Body was against Dan because I wanted to burn his Lycanroc. That was the same week I ran Hex, so that was a good combination there with the Dusknoir. I already talked about Colossal at length. This thing basically just really puts you in a tough spot when it can be both the slowest and the fastest Mon in the matchup, and gets the instant boost from Power Herb. I only missed 1 Meteor Beam all season. I got really lucky with Rock Slide flinches. Heat Crash, I'm heavier than everything in the format. Just an immense amount of damage, even with only 80 attack and special attack. Then we've got Executor. This was the main reason I wanted to do this percent damage, because I didn't really think it was doing that much. 15 games, 20 kills, 5 deaths, so it died in a third of the games that it came. Terra'd 4 times, 1500% damage, so really was just coming in, finishing off Mons at the end of the game. And here, once again, only stabs, Giga Drain, Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse. I clicked a total of 3 offensive moves with this thing and got 20 kills. Outside of that, we clicked Calm Mind in the Grand Finals once and it did nothing. Protect, Trick Room, and Sleep Powder. I did bring Sludge Bomb and Flamethrower to games where it came. I just did not click those moves. And Moonlight and Psyshock came against Donut. That was a really gimmicky set, but it didn't show up to the set of 4. Sludge Bomb and Flamethrower I just don't end up needing because, like I said before, there's no Steel types, there's no Fairy types. I can just click Dragon Pulse or a Grass move. Frisk I only brought when I did not bring Dusknoir. One of those games it did not show up, otherwise it was Harvest. Which explains the 7 citrus berries, which always went off. The Harvest activation actually didn't end up mattering in any game, I don't think. Either Executor finished off the match after the citrus berry, or it was going to die anyway. So, a little misleading. Mental Herb I brought, it did not show up to the match. Yachi Berry did not get activated when I brought it. Covert Cloak, that was the same as the Moonlight Psyshock week, and AV I brought against Sly. Did technically get hit by a special move, live it, and then got a KO with a dragon move, I believe. Steel, just a great Terra on this, dodges the poison and ice moves. Likewise with fire and water, but Steel is usually the preferred one, and poison is sometimes good as well. Just a really good, reliable cleanup Mon. And then Tauros, the last of our big 5. 9 games, 5 kills, 4 deaths. 1 Terra, that was just Terra Ghost to dodge a Fake Out. And the moveset was, unless I was Scarf, it was the same. Protect, normal move, Body Slam or Raging Bull, coverage move or support move. So usually this was Bulldoze or Icy Wind. Rain Dance came, Sandstorm came. Did not click Sandstorm, probably could have Surf to activate Colossal. Assurance was there to kill a Miss Magus. Did not work because Miss Magus had Citrus Berry, lived on 2%. And high horsepower was only clicked against that previously mentioned Avalok. Otherwise, a whole bunch of coverage moves that I did not click. Outrage, Ghost Terror Blast, Close Combat, Fire Blast, Wild Charge, Rock Tomb. 4 of those it did not show up while it had those moves, and the other 3 there, Sandstorm, Fire Blast, or Wild Charge, I just clicked the speed control moves and the stabs. Surf, obviously, to activate the Colossal. Rain Dance was for that gimmicky Hurricane spam, and Icy Wind and Bulldoze, both there for speed control. Definitely did more damage than the kills lead you to believe. Almost double the amount that you would expect. This should be around 8 kills, but Bulldoze damage adds up. Body Slam, Raging Bull, they add up. Sometimes even Surf. So a lot of variety in items here. Safety Goggles was against the Donut team, which had like a whole bunch of sleep powdering mods. Otherwise, Covert Cloak came 3 times, didn't get activated once. I believe that was in Grand Finals against Electric. Scarf actually showed up once. And then Lumberry, Life Orb, and Mirror Herb didn't bring it to the set when those came. Mostly Intimidate. I brought Anger Point week 1, didn't show up. And I brought Sheer Force one of the last weeks of the season. Once again, didn't show up. Just old reliable support mon, really. Bulldoze, Icy Wind, Weather, Surf, and Screen Breaking or Paralysis. Very useful mon. We have our Sandaconda, showed up in 5 games, got 11 kills, which is just dominant. 1 death, terrored twice, both times into Dragon, and did a little bit less than the expected damage, 910%. This time we got a little bit more coverage. We had Dragon Rush, that was against Pancake in the Game 3, only came in Game 3, and was Terra Dragon, so that was Stab. Otherwise it was just Coil and ground moves, or the Specs set with Earth Power and Hurricane. Against Sly, I brought Glare and High Horsepower, so once again, just spamming stabs or spamming super effective moves. The Hurricane set is a pretty big joke, but it worked. And that's also where I brought Sleep Talk. Endeavor was on the Sash set against Sly. Both Sash and Endeavor did not get activated. And I brought all 3 abilities too. Sand Veil, that was the same time I brought Sandstorm Tauros, so that didn't get activated. That was against Pancake. I love this mon. This is one of my favorite mons. It's really funny, it's got good abilities, it's got good stats. If you draft this mon, it will come, and it will do what it's supposed to do. For Alligator, a little bit disappointing, but did a lot of damage. Definitely overstated its kills. Only came 5 games. Did 480%. Only got 2 kills. It really only ran water and ice moves. Agility and the special set was against Dan. Did not get used. Surf was there on the Scarf set to activate Colossal, along with Flip Turn, but didn't come either of those weeks. Every time I brought it, it was the exact same Dragon Dance Liquidation Ice Punch set. Nope, that's not true. When it was Scarf against Boom, I only clicked Liquidation and Ice Punch. When it was Mirror Herb against Camo, I only clicked Dragon Dance, Liquidation, and Ice Punch. Mirror Herb went off on a Curse Torterra, so I got an extra +1/+1 out of that. Always Sheer Force. I don't know when you would really use Torrent, because maybe if you're running Hydro Pump, I guess, something that doesn't have a Sheer Force boost. Terra Dragon just great to get rid of the grass and electric weaknesses. It's the only time I brought Clear Amulet because I was worried about speed drops as well as attack drops from Intimidate. I think in general, you can run a better item than Clear Amulet most of the time. Covert Cloak, if there is no Intimidate, is usually going to be better. Most people, I would say, don't run moves like Charm, in which case Clear Amulet is obviously a good item. But in general, Clear Amulet can be replaced by better team composition and better play. We didn't have Clear Amulet until this year, and we made do. So use a Life Orb would be my suggestion. or a Mystic Water or something like that, and just play better. Moving on, we had Fortress. These are some gimmicky sets. I just ran Choice Band Explosion and Lunge against Keith. That's where the 640% damage comes in. Almost doubling its kill value there. Thunderwave and Stealth Rock, that was against Sly. That was super gimmicky with the Custat Berry, which did not activate. And then it was just stab moves plus body press, which makes sense. And then Drill Run I brought against Ray, and it never saw any play. Fortress is a fun mon. It's another one of those mons that you bring when you need it, which is either going to be Iron Defense Body Press most of the time, or Explosion, or Overcoat. Yes, I forgot to put the abilities down, but it ran Sturdy one week and Overcoat, I think. Never Terrid. Yeah, it didn't get a whole lot done. The opportunity cost of bringing this was too high most of the time. Noctowl was brought for fun in the Hurricane spam with Skyplate. Was also incredibly good against Bone's team with Insomnia, so it can't be put to sleep. Uproar to prevent other mons from going to sleep, but didn't click it. And then Air Slash and Heat Wave are just good coverage moves. I thought about bringing Hyper Beam against Electric because it can, with a Life Orb, one-shot a Skarmory, if Skarmory is not sturdy, of course. So it was Sash against Bone. Didn't actually do a lot of damage against Donut, so is this thing really useful? No. Veluza Electric has correctly pointed out that I did not consider this mon as much as I should have, and when I did, it was only to Final Gambit. So you may get more use out of this 90 HP Final Gambit on a team where you need to set up Trick Room, and in a format where most mons don't have a lot of HP is always going to be good. But at the same time, so is Sharpness, Aqua Cutter, and Psycho Cut, and Night Slash. So you may get more mileage out of this thing than I did. But once again, opportunity cost. I did not like the calculations whenever I tried to bring this mon, other than for Final Gambit. And then finally we have Cryogonal, who just annihilated the Grand Finals game. But otherwise I did not bring it other than the first 2 weeks, one for Anger Point, where it did not come, and then another for just general annoying support with Icy Wind, Chilling Water. Was a secondary Colossal activator, I believe. Sash twice. Sash didn't get activated in the Grand Finals, and Cobra Cloak the other time. Once again, just stabs. So that is a whole lot of only stab moves being run. Veluza doesn't count. Cryogonal only ran stabs. Noctowl only clicked stab. Fortress clicked stab and explosion. Feraligatr clicked liquidation and ice punch. Those moves were only stab other than the Hurricane, because I was Terra Dragon when I clicked Dragon Rush. This was just stabs and support moves. This was only stabs. This was stabs plus Earth Power with a single Heavy Slam kick to finish off a series with perfect accuracy. This was only stabs with a useless Ice Punch. And this was the only mon where I really ran any sort of coverage and actually clicked that coverage. So, a very successful season. Love the team. Love the strategies. It was just very consistent, running the same general strategy most of the time. Trick Room. Or Fast Colossal, and going from there with a support from Tauros. What's next? Only level up moves, only stab moves, but actually only stab moves. This one's pretty close, but definitely not that. Do I want to spend 90 points on Calyrex and see where that is? None of these, because I'm probably not playing the next season. Need to take a break, focus on my child. Happy to put a bookend on either side of this bookshelf with Championship in Season 1, Championship in Season 15. If anybody wants help with team building, let me know, because I still like doing that. I just don't have the time to commit to actually playing the games. Anyway, Thanks for having me. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.